Hi, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us again. We next have Stefan Mabahan, CEO of Azqore, a subsidiary of Indoswest Wealth Management, the wealth management branch of the Credit Agricole Group. He will share more insights on working within Azqore and the exciting opportunities on offer. During the session, please feel free to put any questions you have in the Q&A window, and we'll get these answered live during the session. Without further ado, I'll now hand the time over to Stefan.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me for this sharing session. I'm very happy to have this opportunity, and I will present to you Azqore as well as answer questions at the end of this session. Let me first introduce myself to you. I'm Stefan Marbehan, the CEO of the Azqore Singapore branch. I have an extensive experience in the transformation projects and banking operations. I have been graduated by the University of Sorbonne in Paris, and I then started to work for banks in 1991. I've been in charge of migration of IT systems such as Avaloq. Some of you may know Avaloq system. I did start by Barclays at that time and was head of operation, then moved to Azqore. The name of Azqore was not existing at that time. It was Indo-Suez. And I was in charge of the operation department, so all the back office, as well as later on COO of the Hong Kong branch of Indo-Suez. I went back to Azqore, and now I'm in charge of the Singapore branch. So we will go through a brief presentation of what is Azqore, and then a little bit more into details of what are our services, our offer, and then the job opportunities available now in Azqore Singapore. I will share maybe with you one website which I encourage you to visit. It's simple, azqore.com. And with this website, you will have the opportunity to discover our history, from where we come from. As you may know, Azqore is part of big groups. The first group being Credit Agricole Group in France, as well as Capgemini, a technology group. And we are supported by these two groups since the beginning of Azqore creation, which took place in 2016. We are a company providing two important services to wealth managers. The first one being the servicing of the IT platform, and the second one being the business process outsourcing, the BPO. We do that for most than 30 banks now, worldwide, serving banks in Europe, Switzerland, as well as France, Spain. And we are now serving also banks in Hong Kong or Singapore. We do provide a lot of services outside the business process outsourcing, such as consulting services for the banks being on the platform, as well as digital product and service. So I let you discover the web of Azqore. And as you can see here, we have almost 750 employees. We did 60 migrations since 1992. That was the start date. We allow the banks to save 40% of their costs, so IT and back office costs. Once they move to the platform, their run costs are minimized. We have 30 banks, and we have almost 200 billion of assets under management. As you can see, we are a company certified by SGS. It's covering ISO 9001, as well as 3000 and 27001. I'll stop sharing my introduction with the website, and we will go through the PowerPoint presentation. So to start with, what is the name Azqore? So Azqore stands for from A to Z, because we are covering all the functions, all the products of a wealth manager. Core means core banking system. So as you can see, we did not use the C for core, we used the Q. And this is for quality of service, because we are a Swiss company and very keen to provide a high quality service to our clients. So let's move on to our first beliefs and what is our value proposition. We build the offer to our clients based on the 3 core principles. The first one is, and we can move exactly, the first one is about sharing economy. We strongly believe that sharing is the key for the future of wealth manager. And if I give you an example, it is always more profitable to rent versus buying, or to simply pay as you use the system. Or if you mutualize the effort, you have a better service, cost effective. And the community is very powerful to bring new solutions to new challenge for wealth management. The second dimension and strong belief is the open ecosystem. We were during the 90s and 2000s building a system, a core banking system, fully integrated, but it was a monolith. So it was not accessible to other third-party systems. And we strongly believe that the future lies into spreading innovation with partners. And the third point, which is very important for us, is that we can bring together a lot of impact to our end clients. And this is due to the UX. You know that as soon as you design system with the appropriate UX, you can provide to the end client appropriate system that empower the users. And we are strongly committed to the CSR engagement. As the Crédit Agricole Group, as well as Capgemini, we have initiatives whereby we think we can impact our environment. So now, what is our offer? So we provide a technology platform first, for sure. We have a system home build named S2I. It stands for Integrated System. And this has been built, started 1992. As you can imagine, each time a bank joins the platform, the bank brings new functionalities, new products, new expertise to the platform. And I can tell you the S2I system is a very large system, very powerful. We also offer an exchange platform. So we have a forum, clients exchange together, they can meet. We organize several events per year, and they can exchange ideas about the digital roadmap, for example. We have a collaborative platform between the fintechs. So you will see later on that we offer on our marketplace several well-known fintechs that are fully interfaced with our core banking system. And these fintechs can dialogue together. And last but not least, we provide a business platform, because banks joining Azqore can share together their business ideas or share some service they perform for themselves and they can provide to the other banks. So this Azqore platform is by and for wealth managers. Here is the offer. So as mentioned before, you have the end client on the top, and the bank are providing the front office services. This is their core service. They still keep a middle office, and we take care of all the rest. So with the BPO, we handle all the cash and securities back office, as well as the financial services. We can provide some financial services to some banks. And we are developing right now in Europe a new tax hub, and banks will be able to delegate this service to ourselves. And if the bank doesn't want to delegate the back office, that can happen. They select only the SaaS service. So we provide all the system to the bank, and the back office remains inside the bank. I must say that the BPO covers, out of the 30 banks that are clients of Azqore, 20 use the BPO service, 10 are using only the SaaS. It depends on the market. Switzerland is very mature for BPO. So banks in Switzerland are used to outsource their back office. In Europe, it is a little bit less mature, but it is coming. And in Asia, we did start 5 years ago in Hong Kong and Singapore. So it's starting, and we are seeing this business developing. The main interest for the bank is for sure the cost-income ratio improvement. And this is key. This is when we do start negotiation with banks, we very often indicate straight that cost will be reduced by 40%. And this is not something easy to achieve. You can only achieve it by selecting a platform such as the S2I system with all the offer provided by Azqore. The second pillar is also relating to our capability to do regulatory monitoring. As I did explain just before, and we can move to the next slide. As I indicated just before, we are coming from a bank. So we were before part of Industry as well. And we did split in 2016, but we have this ADN. So we know how banks do operate. We know it's really a dialogue banker to banker, in fact. As we have our presence is covering 10 countries, we have a dialogue with all these banks to make sure they are compliant with their regulatory requirements, local regulatory requirements. And we are developing all the necessary tools or interfacing the new system to make sure that banks can operate at a compliant level. And we have, to finish, this end client intimacy. So as said, we do provide digital tools to the end client. So we handle mainly the business B2B, so the bank and ourselves. But we also provide with our system the e-banking and the m-banking with the new trend now to provide that in an omni-channel mode, meaning that the development we do for the core banking system apply also for these digital tools. So let's focus maybe on the next part, which is Azqore in Singapore, so Azqore Asia. We have here the opportunity since more than 5 years to serve clients in both Hong Kong and Singapore. As I was CEO in Hong Kong, I know very well the market, and Singapore too, because I was part of the creation of Azqore Singapore. So Singapore branch today serves the client with an average of 160 people. But this is a very talented and experienced team serving almost 15% of the client base of Azqore from Singapore. As you can see here, we have mainly an IT department. We have the back office, as well as the support function and the front office. And we are serving our clients with bank operation, for sure, covering most of the bank operations today. We have a principle which is very powerful. This is the follow the sun. So Singapore is working during the night of Europe. preparing the business for all the banks of the platform. And once we reach the 9 p.m. or a little bit earlier, I can assure you, we let Switzerland to continue and process the operation of the platform. This is the same, and this is applicable also for IT developments, as well as the build and run. And we do provide also in Singapore some consulting services. So each bank can ask us to evaluate a new product, what would be the new development required, how can we parameterize the system accordingly, or to evaluate a new tariff policy, for example, that the bank wants to implement in the coming months. So if I detail a little bit on the back office operation on the next slide, what is really important to understand when you work by Azqore is most of the time in the back office, you work for one bank. And this is large enough with the coverage of all products, starting from cash to FX to money market and securities. And when you join Azqore, the real challenge at first is to discover how to serve many banks at the same time. So you have the system for that, DS2I, but it's very enriching and very challenging to have in front of you many banks having the expertise on many products and asking you to process all this operation. This is really requiring expertise, really a lot of energy, but it's very challenging and very interesting to process. And as you can see, we are almost 200 FTEs dedicated to back office operation. In Singapore, the size of the team is 30 people. And as you can see, one key element we do sell to our client is a very, very low operational risk. We are really focused on the exchange rates by operation types, and we want to make sure that the bank does not encounter any operational issues. As you can see the figure, and I believe most of the provider on the market would not show you that kind of figure. But as you can see, we can have risk operational at the level of 200,000 Swiss francs per year for all the 20 banks on the platform. And we are very proud of this. It means that the processes have been automated, industrialized at a very high level of quality, and that the reversal rate and the risk of operational loss is extremely low. As you can see, for 200 billion of asset under management, it's really low. So a very good team, and we are very proud of this achievement. And we want to continue for sure to minimize this operational loss. On the IT side in Asia, if we move on to the next slide, we have two main departments in Singapore. The first one is dedicated to the build. So we have the chance to run the functional domain of financial security, as well as finance, as well as RPC, and compliance. And capital market and securities are also covered by the Singapore branch. This is very important because we believe the talented professionals are in Singapore for these specific domains. The other functional domains are led by Switzerland, the head office of Azqore. And as you can see, we do cover all the cycle of the build. So we cover from the scoping. This is why we need very experienced BAs, the business analyst. We must ensure that the dialogue between the client and the IT department is clear. We have a requirement for project managers, for sure. We have a lot of projects ongoing, and we do have 4 releases per year. We have some major and minor releases, but we have a lot of changes because a lot of banks are on the platform. And as you can see, we handle also from Singapore the release management, the testing factory, as well as the QA/QC. And on the run activities, we do maintain all this platform from Singapore. Here also, we do follow the sun. Singapore has a responsibility during the nighttime in Europe. And we do ensure also the coordination with our development center in India. And if I can spend some time here, I would like to talk a little bit on the Azqore innovation. So we have a lot of very exciting projects. And as you know, right now we are just in the middle of the FinTech Festival and in Singapore. And there are a lot of discussions. We do participate through our investment bank, CACIB. And we are proud to announce that we will launch the Azqore lab. This lab is already existing in Paris as well as Lausanne. Lausanne is the head office in Switzerland, in the French part of Switzerland. And we will launch the innovation lab here in Singapore at the beginning of the year. So we will have some UX designer as UX UI, as well as agile time dedicated to the development of these new ideas. And I'm really excited to have this first discussion with the clients on how to improve the interaction with end clients. And it can be ideas such like automating the dialogue with the clients. So as you know, most of the relationship manager would have to write down all their discussion with the client, how to automate this and to have that automatically capturing the core banking system, as well as other initiatives, in particular with the AIs to be plugged on the data lake we have launched this year. So all the information bank process, as well as the third-party service provider, can be integrated into the data lake of Azqore. And we are proud to announce the partnership with a small fintech, Suadeo, that provides a superb tool to consolidate this data. But we want in the future to elaborate new solutions with AI with our partners in Singapore and Hong Kong. We can move on. The other point, which is very important for us, is that we have the experts that are coordinating all the development with India. So India, we have a center whereby we develop all the APIs, and there is an API factory, but all the integration of the widgets in our new solution is performed by the Singapore branch. And we want to move on and to build up this team to be able to provide more services, not only for Asia, but also for Europe. If we move on to the next slide, and this is very exciting, a very exciting part of the wealth management and what is the value added by Azqore. It shows to you what are the main key driver of the hyper-personalization. This is a very important topic for wealth manager. As you can see, it all starts on top with the agility with the end customer, and we are proud to have interface fully a fintech from the UK named Wealth Dynamics. Most of the relationship manager would say it's the Rolls-Royce of the interactive tool to dialogue with the clients. We did integrate also the Lux Trust, which is the digital signatures that works with Wealth Dynamics. And as you can see, we did also include the personalized investment portfolio with Evoc and EdgeLab. EdgeLab providing a VAR evaluation of the portfolio. And this is fully interfaced with our core banking system. We even have some bridge between the relationship manager using Wealth Dynamics and Evoc. He can fluently go from one system to the other. We have also, as just mentioned before, the data lake. So we can provide data analytics with Suadeo. And as you can see, we can use some AIs to evaluate the risk profiles. We use a neuroprofiler for the onboarding of clients, as well as DreamQuark, also interface with the SY. And the two parts that we are building on right now are on the personalized advisory using an AI, as well as portfolio aggregation. As you can see, a very exciting landscape for the coming years. And for sure, Azqore Singapore will participate to this new added value creation. I want to go a little bit more on our values. And if we move to the next slide, and this is a key topic by Azqore, we want to be the one participating to the sustainable society in Singapore, especially in the domain of finance, in the financial industry. And we do that by creating the awareness amongst all the employees. We have a platform where each employee can dedicate some time for concrete actions. We have an environment with our clients and partners, so we do choose the partner based on their sustainable engagement. We are keen to make sure that the diversity is respected. And we are on our way to be a certificate for our office here in Singapore and to obtain this certification of CSR. And last but not least, and this will be my next slide, here you can see, if we move on, all the activities that have been organized by the team. And I must say a lot of energy dedicated to this environment sensibility, the community actions, as well as international actions. I want to conclude this sharing session with the team of Azqore. Azqore is really centered around the team, and the team means the employees of Azqore for sure, as well as the client. And we want to make sure that the communication between the clients and all the team is working well. We have a very powerful boulevard in front of us because we are supported by two major groups, financial group, and we are a fintech. So we have a marriage of both of the dimension, the financial power of Crédit Agricole Group and the financial and technology power of Capgemini. And we have a small team growing for sure, but being well motivated to provide new service to our clients. And here I did zoom on one specific point, which is the new way of working. Since we all faced the work from home during this COVID period, it did accelerate the requirement for all the staff for a better quality of work. And this quality of work means different things. First, for sure, we have the right environment. The office is located in One North in Singapore, and it's near the fintech area. We are around all the techs of Singapore. We have beautiful office. We want also, and for sure, our employees want that too, the quality of life, meaning the flexibility from work from home, work from the office. For the moment, the rule is still work from home, but we want to secure and to ensure all our employees that they can have a flexible mode to work. So to select 2 to 3 days to come to the office with some specific rules, but we will have flexibility here. And we want to make sure also the work remains challenging and motivating. And we have here the opportunity, because of the 2 groups that support us, to arrange a mobility, so a career path. You can progress from one role to the other, as well as opportunities to move to Europe if you want to do that. And opportunities occur within the groups. So a very motivating environment. Azqore is a great company, a young company, but I'm pleased to lead this company in Singapore to generate new value for the wealth manager here.
Thank you, Stefan, for your presentation. I'm afraid we're running short of time. Lawrence has messaged me. So I see we have 2 questions for Stefan, but in the view of time constraints, probably Rahul and another attendee, you may want to visit our Azqore hiring board and speak to other hiring managers. We have tech leads as well as project managers who are available to all of you. So they can also help to answer your questions as well.
Okay.
I'll pass it on to Lauren to wrap up.
Yeah, so sorry about that. Thank you so much for that detailed sharing. I think it has given the audience a very good understanding of Azqore and the kind of company that would be welcoming to a lot of candidates who might be visiting your booth now to ask you their pressing questions. So thank you once again for your sharing and for joining us today. I'm afraid we have to end the session now to start our next session. So thanks once again, everyone, for joining us. Come back here shortly as we'll have the next sharing session with OAC. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
You all.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.